Welcome to Intune Training, the place to learn how to use Microsoft Intune, the certificates edition again. Yeah, it's exciting.
Certs.
Yeah.
Certs.
I hope everyone's as excited about certificates as Steve is today. I sure am. You can tell, right? Okay, so let's just cut to the chase.
So I'm Steve. That's Ben.
I'm the intern. Jamie, exactly. In jokes, they are fantastic, and everyone understands them. Okay, so the last couple of episodes we deployed our SCEP certificates to our iOS devices and our macOS devices. Correct. So now we're going to step over the line and hang out with our neckbeards and nerds with our Android devices, which I am one. I'm working on my neckbeard as I speak.
I'm an Android person as well. Look, here's my Pixel 6. I'm very excited.
Yeah,
Ben still hasn't got his yet.
Yeah, I don't. Anyway, so we're going to deploy today. We're going to deploy our SCEP certificates to our Samsung device, to our Android work profiles. Now, Steve has informed me that this actually means that there's going to be two videos that we're going to do around this, because there are two different ways to deploy certificates.
Actually,
one is with
3 or 4.
Sure, but so specifically today we're going to deploy the certificates to the work profile, which is that containerized stuff that we've talked about in a previous video. The other one is to deploy to the AOSP framework.
Yeah, and then there's also for device managed. So, or the fully managed, dedicated, or corporate-owned work profile is a separate profile as well. And you'll see that when we go through this, setting up Android for Enterprise configuration.
But we do have every intent to every possible scenario we'll do a video on.
With the exception of Android Device Manager, a device administrator, because it's not supported in the latest version of Android OS. So if you need that, I'm sure you'll figure it out based on the videos that we put together. Yep. But it's something that we're not going to talk through because it's a deprecated service.
Sure. So like what you're saying there is like that's a thing you can technically do, but like you shouldn't, because it's out of scope. It's not a thing that's being maintained anymore.
That's right. There will be organizations that need it, and we understand that, but we're just sitting here from an Intune training situation of we don't have hardware that supports it, and we're also saying, well, it's not a technology that is being maintained, so there's no forward expansion on it.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, so let me share my screen. So anyone that's watched the last couple of videos, this is all going to look very, very familiar. Slight tweaks, because obviously Android has to be special and unique in its own way. But here we are at the endpoint portal, everyone's favorite portal. And we're going to pop over to devices. And like last time, I'm going to filter on Android just so that we can get rid of all the chaff. We don't care. Yes. All right, so what am I doing? Exactly the same deal?
Correct. We're going to go to the configuration profiles.
Sweet.
And then we're going to create a profile. You'll see we have no profiles at the moment. Awesome. We're starting clean. And this is where the first wrinkle is. We need to select the platform. And it's scary at first, like, which one do I need to use? Right now, Android Enterprise is the standard you see across the industry. AOSP is the one that's going to become more standardized, while Android Device Administrator is the legacy system.
Yeah, so this is going to be phased out.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. So today we're going to just create an Android Enterprise platform profile.
Correct.
And we are going to find the trusted certificate.
So you'll see here we have 3 distinct menu options underneath that, which is the OEM configuration. Think of that as where you got your barcode readers and things like that, where you can define that configuration. Some of these may have certificates in there. We don't have that hardware. We can't validate that. Then we have the fully managed, dedicated, corporate-owned work profile. So this is where it's the corporate-owned device with work profile. We can do that, and we will probably demo that eventually. Yeah. But the one that we're going to focus on right now is that personal-owned work profile, because that's how our device is set up for the demo.
For sure. But also, to be completely fair, I'm assuming that the experience of creating the profile for these is almost the same. It's just scoping the deployment slightly differently, right?
Yeah, and how they appear on the devices will be different.
Sure, but functionally, the profile creation is exactly the same. So,
correct.
All right, cool. So we're going to create that trusted profile or the trusted certificate. So again, like we did in the last it feels like a million videos. We need to create the root cert profile first because that is what chains to the SCEP certificate. So
correct.
We'll create this Android. Yep, happy days. We'll give it a name. So we'll go Android Enterprise. Whoa, that wasn't what I typed.
Personal work profile.
Root certificates, and finally the important thing.
Yes, we've got to have the padlock.
Padlock. That is maybe the longest profile name I've ever used.
Yep.
So,
cool. But we have to be very descriptive because it can get very confusing very rapidly.
For sure.
So obviously, we search here for our cert.
Yep. So again, same root set that we've used for everything so far. So
correct.
And it's worth pointing out that once this root set expires, you need to go through and you need to recreate all these profiles, or at least update them with the correct certificate. So
recreate.
Yeah,
Please recreate. Don't replace.
If you haven't got the root cert expiry date set in your calendar,
don't worry.
It now.
Don't worry. Everybody in the company will tell you when it expires.
You'll know. Yeah, just be important. Be very vigilant around that stuff. Set up a schedule. Put it in your calendar, maybe a week, 2 weeks before it's actually going to expire. You don't want to get burnt by this stuff. Yeah, exactly. Go to Barbados. I hear it's lovely whenever the certificates expire. All right, so we're going to add groups. Same group, I'm assuming?
Yep, set group.
Cool. Sweet. Obviously, as per usual, filters are a thing that we can use now, so you can increase that scope quite large and then filter it down. We don't need to do that for now. And we're just going to review and create. Yep, I'm happy with that. Create. Cool beans. Next one is we're going to go back to Android. We're going to create another profile, and as per everything we've done so far, Android Enterprise. We are doing personally owned work device, and we're selecting SCEP certificate.
Correct.
Android Enterprise personal work profile.
SCEP certificate.
And the important padlock.
Right.
Awesome. I didn't do an input language switch Windows 11. All right. So again, we're setting these up exactly the same as we've done every other profile. So we are deploying these as user certificate types because we are in our magical full cloud management environment where none of our devices have AD-backed policies or trusts. So, it's important that we're doing user. We're not changing this. Yeah.
That's probably important to mention, especially for the iOS, Android, and Mac OS. They don't typically exist in your Active Directory, so you can't do authentication on the computer object.
Yep, that is really important. And that, and I said it in one of the videos previously. Let me know in the comments which one it was, because I can't remember at this stage.
iOS, I think.
Probably iOS. But, deploying these certificates to devices invariably means that you're using this because you're doing device-based authentication.
Correct.
What that means is that inevitably, that device-based authentication is using some kind of authentication mechanism that's probably using Active Directory as its source of truth. If your device is not enrolled to Active Directory, it will fail authentication. You will not pass go. You will not collect $200. You will not get to go to Barbados for your holiday. So this is why we do user, because user is awesome. Okay, so let's go through and we'll set everything up as we've done before. So cert validity, we're not changing. Key usage, digital signature, key encipherment. Key size is 2048.
So did you note there, Ben?
We didn't have the
4084. Because it's not needed.
Yeah.
Sure. And not supported on Android. So that's where you go 1024 or 2048 instead of 49.
And so this goes back to even when we were setting up the SCEP stuff, where we kept saying do 2048, because if you don't do that and you think you're being extra secure, you now get to this point and you can't do anything.
Correct.
So 2048, just set it there. Don't change it. Don't think you can be one up on anyone else.
Look, in the future, it may change to a higher key size, but right now 2048 does everything we need it to.
Exactly. This is different. This was not in the other ones.
It was in the Windows one.
Yes, but it was not in the Mac one. So we're selecting SHA-2.
Because Mac doesn't support SHA-1. Mac and iOS do not support SHA-1, whereas Android and Windows still support SHA-1 to a point. But don't use SHA-1. Please just go and update your certificate authority if you're still using SHA-1. Get to SHA-2. It's more secure.
Exactly. Cool. Okay, so we're happy with that. We've got 2 key usages. We've got our key size. We've got our hash algorithm. We're all very modern and shiny. Let's attach our root profile that we just created.
Correct.
And we're going to add in our extended key usages.
Which is the same as we used last time, which is any purpose, client authentication, secure email, and then we're also going to add encrypting file system with the keys that we added previously.
You'd think I would have saved this somewhere easier to grab, but I have not, and there we are.
It's quick enough.
It's quick enough, exactly. So we've got our 4 key extended usages, so we're all happy with that. Renewal threshold, again, we're not changing this. SCEP server URLs is the same as it's always been. Grab that from my handy dandy notepad file. I'm going to paste that in there. We hit next. We hit next. We assign to our magic group. Set group. Select. Again, filtering is an option. We're happy with that. We got our key usage. This is really the only time that I've ever actually spent time on the review page is when I'm doing certificates, because this stuff is really important. And also for those playing at home, case sensitivity exists. So if you're manually typing in encrypting file system and you don't put in a capital for E or F or S, or you have a typo there, it is really important, because the key and the value are actually determining whether these things exist or not. So super important. And, I love this final review and create screen. I think it's absolutely fantastic. All right, cool. So we're happy with that. We'll hit create. And let's have a quick look and see if that root set's actually started coming through. I have a feeling it might. So let's have a look, refresh, go into root. Hey, look at that. So, okay, Steve, do you want to share your screen? Because this is looking like it's already working.
All right, let me just set my screen up here. Just bear with me. I'm going to share this. Let me know when you can see it.
Got it, buddy. Whoa, that was a awkward cut. What happened there, Steve?
Well, let's be honest. We can see that the policy applied, but we forgot that we have to have an app on there to look inside the certificate in the work profile.
That's weird. So
the simple answer is we got complacent. We didn't have the right tool sets that we needed to demonstrate what was going on.
Exactly.
So
let me just quickly explain. So we know that this worked, and Steve you can show us that the certificate is deployed. I mean, we're looking at the SCEP policy. The overview is passed. We can see the certificate is there. Everyone is happy. Now, what we were doing was we were trying to show that the certificate had actually applied to the machine. But the key important thing here, and the reason we couldn't actually see this certificate on this device, was specifically around the way that we have done this. And this is with Android Enterprise, because it creates a work container on the device. The device can never see what is inside that container, and that is by design. So we could see the root certificate because the root certificate was deployed to the device, but the container itself is where that SCEP certificate gets enrolled. So the solution, after a lot of frantic head scratching and internet searching and Dr. Googling, is that we simply need to deploy an application to our work profile so that we can actually analyze what's inside the profile.
Exactly.
Makes a lot of sense. So we know that this works, but just to show that it's not magic, we're gonna deploy that app, and we're gonna open it up on our phone, and we're just gonna show you what's going on.
I thought all certificates were magic.
They are, but
we're gonna spoil the trick. It's all good.
Yeah,
we're good with that.
We're the Penn and Teller of Intune.
Exactly. We'll tell you partly how it works, but not the whole way. So let's go to tenant administration. Under here, we're going to go to our connectors and tokens, and we're going to go down to our Google Play Store, if I can find it. So managed Google Play Store. The reason why I'm saying go this way, you can go directly if you've got the link, is you can just go open the managed Google Play Store. One of the things that also took us a little bit to go, oh, what account did we actually use to set this up with? It would be nice if you could have a tag there, but just keep track of your Google accounts.
Yes, exactly.
So we're going to open up our Android Play Store. And from here, I can see that I'm signed in with my wrong account. So I'm just going to quickly open up one that I opened earlier that has all of my managed applications, which is our Intune training account. From here, we're going to search for a product called My Certificates. I spelt it right. Yes. And you'll see this one here by Wes Bunton. We've not used this previously, but it is what we've seen as being the recommended certificate investigation solution by other people.
Yeah.
This is us just basing it on our research of this is how you have visibility. You don't need to make this available to all your staff unless you're doing evaluation. It's to validate that the certificate exists on the device.
Yeah, I mean, in fact, if you have trust that the report overview data that you have for the policy is correct, then you don't even need to do this step. But correct. We just want to see the certificate on the machine, so we're going to
trust but verify.
Exactly.
So we're going to hit approve, which will make it available to our store. So this app has full access to the network. Sure, that's all it needs, because it needs to have that certificate stack access.
Yeah.
So this will take a sec, and obviously we want to have it so it automatically updates because you always want the latest version. So keep it approved when you're new permissions, happy days. So I don't have to keep coming in here and keeping it up to date because we're not going to. And then the last thing we're going to do here is we're just going to hit save and sync.
Yeah.
That will force it to sync that application through. We're going to then go back to our Android tab. We're going to select Android, and we're not going to go there. We're going to go to apps. We're going to Androids. And in here, we now have our My Certificates. What we're going to do is make this available to our security group. And it's the same one we used previously. The reason why we want to make it available and not mandatory is we only want to use it when we're testing and evaluating. I believe we make it available to enroll. No, let's do with or without enrollment because I can't remember if it's which one we need to go with.
Yeah, sure.
And it's going to be the SEC group, which is the same one. We're going to go review and save. We're going to hit save. And that should now appear in our store. Sweet. So I'm just going to go and quickly check my work before I flip the camera over, because I like to do this.
I believe this is what we call doubt and confirm.
Yes, that's correct. So just bear with me. I'm going to go to my Samsung device. So here we are, and you'll see we've got Play Store on the dashboard, but that's not going to be the one we want to use. We want to go to our work profile down the bottom, and then we're going to go to the Play Store with the briefcase on there. Now you'll see in there I have my certificates that I can go and install. And once it's installed, I can then hit open and I'll be able to go in and check. So we'll hit open, and you may be prompted to enable lock screen. Yep, perfect. So, and you'll see all of the information there. It's saying, look, be careful, be careful.
Yeah.
And the inspect TLS cert from URL is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But we're going to go from store. And you'll see straight away that first one, adstephen@intunetraining.onmicrosoft.com, CN Intune, AD Stephen is the account certificate we want to look at. We can now click into that, and straight away we can see that it was issued by our Intune Training CA, and it has everything that's required for that certificate. And we scroll all the way down, and we should see key usage somewhere, and there it is there. So you'll see, while we selected all four in our policy,
this is only showing the key usage, not the extended key usage.
Yes, and that's because that's what the certificate, what the Android device accepts.
Yeah, that's correct.
So yeah, how easy was that once we figured out that we needed this application?
Yeah, and I mean, look, the important thing to point out with this is obviously this is external or extra to what we actually need to do. We just wanted to prove that what we did worked. Like,
yeah,
I was confident that the certificate deployed because the report had stated that it did, but we just wanted to be able to see that, and we now have. So, fantastic that we got to actually figure this one out. But hopefully everyone understands that that deploying these profiles out is as easy as anything, whether you're using iOS, Mac OS, Windows, or Android. The process is essentially the same, and as long as you've got your infrastructure set up, this is very easy. I do believe there's a couple more scenarios that we're going to showcase with this.
Yep.
So stick around for more of those, and then coming up in this series, we'll do a couple more of the real basic deployments of the policies. But we'll also we'll get Nick back on board, and we'll have a play around with the PKCS certificate stuff, which is potentially maybe the more recommended way to do it these days.
It comes down to there is a Venn diagram of
there's
just the same thing, but there's
pros and
different
cons.
Scenarios.
We'll have that discussion. That's for sure.
And then the last part of that whole series is going to tie it all together with Wi-Fi. That's
it. Cool. So everyone, thanks for sticking around. Sorry if this dragged on a little bit longer than we wanted to, but hope you got some value out of that, and we'll see you in the next one.